she's growing. You know, I think that she is discovering who she is and she's discovering who she's not. And I think she's, learning that a lot of things that she thought about herself are a little bit different than what she expected.
Congratulations on season 2. We have been waiting and you guys are definitely delivering. So Jerrie, I will start with you. Last season ended with the revelation that your character Ty was previously married to a man. And this season, we will see her have to reconcile with that while also, moving forward with her dating woes, which is always very interesting to see. So how relevant do you think that storyline is with someone who has gone through such a transition within the LGBTQ plus community?
Actually, since filming season 1, I've met people who have been married or who are married to men, and these are like masculine or more masculine and androgynous performing women. And one person I was like kind of seeing, and then she was like, well, actually, it's funny that your story has this in it because I'm married. And I was like, you're married. And she was like, no, for real. And her husband is queer, and they never really had a reason, I guess, to get divorced. But now it's coming up. And I think it was, they, did it for whatever reasons they needed to do it when they were younger. And so I think that's a conversation that sometimes we don't have about like the life before or things that you had to do in certain places before you got to where you are. And marriage is a thing in a lot of places, and sometimes it can be, a sharing of resources or a safety net. And so I think to be able to open up the conversation where people can say, because it is awkward, honestly, for I don't think if I played that character or if that was out, that person would have told me so soon that she was married. Because it is an interesting thing. And then it becomes like, wait, hold on, but I thought you were, but people can be more than one thing. And I think that's important to know.
Yes, and for you, Meagan, Camille, your character Camille, we see her get into some mess last season with her ex, which really has a ripple effect on how her storyline goes this season. And she also experienced like a professional aha moment that we felt was funny and also like something that was very relatable. So basically, Camille is like confused and in a transitional period herself. So what type of roller coaster can we expect from her this time around?
Oh man, well, she's growing. You know, I think that she is discovering who she is and she's discovering who she's not. And I think she's, learning that a lot of things that she thought about herself are a little bit different than what she expected. And I really love about her journey is that she's doing it in a way where you're able to see her, fail. You're able to see her make mistakes. You're able to see her take a moment and self-reflect and gain a certain self-awareness. And so throughout the journey of this next season, she's figuring it out, and not in the cleanest, easiest way, but she is. And so that was really fun for me to be able to explore the human behavior without judging the character and without saying, well, this is how it usually would go in any other movie or TV show, and saying like, no, but this is probably what choice would have been made in real life. And now you got to figure out how to kind of figure things out from that point.
Well, this show is so fun to watch. We love seeing the friendships grow in each individual storyline. So hopefully we will talk to you again season 3. And thank you guys for your time today.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations on season 2. So excited about it. So Grace, I will start with you. Obviously, Quinn is on a journey of self-discovery this season. So what come to Jesus moments can we expect her to experience within her friendship circle and then also with her conservative mother who may challenge, her journey?
Oh my gosh. There is a beautiful come to Jesus moment with her and her mom at some point, that's all I'll say, throughout the season. And you don't expect it because it has the qualities of a dynamic that you've never seen between the two of them before. And her mother also holds a big key to part of her self-discovery journey. And so I will say that. And I think that that's a really wonderful moment to anticipate for Quinn. And in her friendship circle, I think we see some really interesting dynamics between her and Angie because some things are changing in the household as far as where Angie may be, where she may be. And I think that there's some adjustments that happen that are difficult for Quinn, and she kind of speaks and acts outside of that. And then I think there's a really interesting dynamic that occurs between her and Ty this season, because she's really looking to Ty to help her navigate this new journey, this new facet of the journey for her, as she is trying to get some answers to some questions that she really has about herself.
Now, we all know that Quinn and Angie are like the BFFs of the crew. And Shoniqua, for you, Angie has sort of been viewed as like the Lynn Searcy of the group, the one with little direction or kind of like floaty. And now she's on the come up. Does this change the group's perception of her or even their dynamic? And how does this impact her already like confident and bold personality?
Oh, those are good. I think her friends are incredibly supportive, but I think it's very easy to get trapped in the roles that you play in the dynamics of the group. And because even with, and I'm just gonna stick up for my girl every time. Sis had 2 jobs in season 1 and still wasn't like really respected or understood in the dynamics of the group regarding that. She still was like the broke friend, and the joke even amongst that with her like nannying and working in a musical at the same time. So I think it's just like once you kind of like have a rhythm and we know each other, it takes something drastic for you like to shift out of that. And they're incredibly supportive, even down to like lying to her about how a play was. But I think the dynamics of that group would need something. She would need to get another deal, I think, at that point for it to shift. Just because she's been playing that role for so long within the group. And for herself, absolutely it shifted. I think a lot of Angie's like inner confidence is based on knowing exactly who she is, and it doesn't really shift too much based on the circumstances around her, but it's more so like dependent upon her art. And her having such a low blow in the end of that finale, you really see her needing to almost like pick herself back together again. She starts season 2 extremely broken and unsure and masking that with jokes and a good time. But ultimately, the Angie that we've like known to be so self-assured is a little frazzled at the top of the season, and seeing her, but easily knowing who she is, just a little bit of like going back to the core, tapping into what her center is, and reminding herself that the love and the truth of her identity isn't based on anyone else's approval, but what she knows instinctively is that she's amazing. I think you see her bounce back rather quickly.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing all of the goodness that season 2 has to offer. Thank you so much for speaking with me today, and I hopefully will speak to you guys in season 3. So congratulations on season 2. Obviously, last season, Ann caught himself in a pickle with Camille on the season finale. So how is your character navigating the decision that he made this season, and where do things stand with you and Camille that you can dish out?
Yeah, well, he's navigating it as best he can. You know, Ian is this man that's like a lot of us, you know. We're in process trying to figure out who we are and what we stand for. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, we dream big and we want these things. Like Ian, I like to look at him in the first season like Ian the dreamer. You know, he wanted to rekindle his old flame, and he wanted to, you know, introduce a piece of Paris into his old block through this fine French cuisine, this restaurant that he introduced. But then, you know, figuring out what to do with some of those things and taking responsibilities for, you know, the reactions surrounding them is something that he's got to do as a man. Again, you know, he rekindles that flame. What does it mean for his current fiance and his home life? You know, you got to deal with that as a man, be responsible. Same thing with the restaurants. Like, yeah, he succeeded in it, but now his own people are starting to look at him like he's, you know, part of the gentrification problem. So like, you got to deal with that. You know what I mean? So I feel like one of his themes, one of his through lines in season 2 is him developing what's necessary to be a man.
Why do you think the show has been such a success with its viewers for it to get picked up so soon and for there to be such a yearning for a second season? And what about your character do you feel resonates so much with viewers?
I would say that it's getting such a positive feedback and people are loving it so much because it's just really highlighting the necessity to see Black people, Black culture, Black joy, and all of its complexities. You know what I'm saying? It's faceted. It's not just one note. You know what I'm saying? It's not just hurrah, like, okay, cool. We're not just strong. You know what I'm saying? There's some virility and vulnerability that goes along with it as well. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like seeing that juxtaposition, seeing that contrast, whether it's us as a people or you look at Ian as an individual, is something that we can all empathize with because that's what makes us human.
Now, this is your second season, so obviously you and the cast have had enough time to build true relationships outside of the show. How are you managing having such girl power around you all day and then having to go home to more girl power with your love and your baby girl?
My new one is a baby boy, but my middle one is a baby girl, so I do have that. But you know what? I feel like it's such a treat. We feel like a lot of times you think about strength. It may be a knee-jerk reaction to think that like the strength goes along with being a man. Like I'm seeing such strength and such power from being on set with these women, and at the end of the day, I've never been supported more than by a Black woman. You know what I mean? Whether it be the supporters that I got from the artistry that I do, my woman at home. So it's like I get enveloped in this support when I'm on set, and then the flip side, to be the only man, not the only man, but like one of the men being surrounded by all these women, it's like I love to bring my own sense of strength, my own sense of protection, to them as an artist, but then also like just as an individual. We move around in the streets. It's like they know I got their back. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a beautiful marriage of love between all of us.
Well, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you today. Congratulations again on the success of the show and everything else that you have going forward. And I look forward to talking to you for season 3.
Absolutely. Me too. Fingers crossed. I appreciate it.
Congrats on season 2 of Harlem. Now, we've been waiting for what seems like forever, so we're finally excited that it's here. What do you think registered so much with viewers that it got a second season and picked up so quickly?
I think the cast and the chemistry. I think that they, as a foursome, represent a lot of different aspects of Blackness, and they look different and come from different backgrounds, and I think they have incredible chemistry, and that's just because, honestly, they love each other in real life, and so that kind of like translates really well on screen. But yeah, I think at the heart of it, it was just a lot of great friendship stories, and I think the romance was fun. But I think really if those 4 didn't work, then we wouldn't have a show. I think people were really excited about them.
Yeah, it's fun to see their off-screen chemistry transfer on screen, because we see obviously through their Instagram interactions that they're actually very close. And so the characters, like you said, they're also different. They all give each viewer something completely different to register with. Which character storyline this season do you think audiences will be most shocked by in season 2?
Without giving too much away, I think that what Camille and Ian are dealing with and talking about might resonate. And the reason why I think so is because I'm finding it coming up in my life and my friends' lives. When you hit like mid-30s, everyone starts to have the baby conversation if you haven't already had a kid, and what that means. Are you going to freeze your eggs? Are you going to have a kid with the person that you're with? What if you're not with someone at the moment? So I think there's just a lot of like questions and conversations that are naturally happening around that, and that since we're playing it out in this show, I think it might resonate with people.
Now, you spoke briefly about the importance of highlighting, or for viewers, obviously they love to watch stories about friendship, and you've become synonymous with projects centered around the Black female friendship experience with this show, and then obviously with Girls Trip, which you've confirmed finally our sequel is coming. Why do you think that this specific theme is so necessary?
For me, I just remember there was I would say 5-7 years ago, there was a period where there was just a lot of cattiness and people throwing drinks in people's faces and sleeping with each other's men, and that was becoming kind of the norm and the representation of female
The whole
friendships.
reality TV genre. Gotcha.
Yes, and so I was kind of look, I'm not holier than thou. I watch that stuff too and enjoy it, but I also was we're missing some of the amazing parts of what it means to be a Black woman, which is we're incredibly loyal and supportive and loving, and we get through a lot of tough times by relying on our female friends and our sisters and our family members. And so I was I really want to bring that back. So I just really wanted to have more love stories centered around women getting along with each other and actually not being negative and throwing drinks in faces. So it was kind of just an anti message to that part of what I was saying.
Well, it's great to see the other side of that, and you've done it so well. So congratulations again, and it was a pleasure speaking with you, and I will see you on season 3.
Thank you. I appreciate it.